Well, hello, Mark Aaron with River City TV, and today it's a bittersweet day here in the River District on Main Street. Joining me is Joe Hile, the owner of Hile's Hobby Shop here on Main. And Joe, I know this shop has been many different things over the years, but for the past 65 years, your family and yourself have run this shop here on Main Street in the River District, and today you're closing the doors. I know you had people coming in today cleaning out, so wanted to come in and recognize this longtime business owner here in the community. As we said, it's a bittersweet day. We hate to see Joe leave the River District, but we know retirement calls, and I'm sure you're still going to have a lot of fun with the trains and things that you enjoy during retirement. But Joe, again, want to welcome you to this week's show, and I guess congratulate you on your retirement. But as I mentioned, we hate to see you leaving.
It has mixed emotions in it. Have a lot of people that I've met, and very nice people that were interesting, and even people from all over the world have been in here. Yeah. So it was interesting, and it kept me out of trouble too.
That's right. Now, we talked earlier, I know the family started the business, as I mentioned, 65 years ago, but you've been selling trains and odds and ends and cards and things like that for the past 25 years, but that's not how it started. Can you tell me what Hile sold when it first opened up here on Main Street?
Well, when my dad first started out, in those days, it was in the late 40s. And, well, 1951 actually. And at that time, a lot of people used fancy tables and all that, so we had nice tablecloths and linen napkins and all that kind of type thing. Then we sold, after the Second World War, then they went into, they didn't have kitchens, didn't have dining rooms, so they didn't use fancy tablecloths anymore. Yeah. So we had to change, so we wound up going into selling bedspreads and sheets and pillowcases and nice towels, bath towels. Mm-hmm. And that worked out pretty good for a while. Then that sort of changed. Then we went to selling bedspreads and drapers. And that worked for a while. So all along it kept changing what you had to sell.
Right.
And then we started selling pictures. And that went pretty well. And along the way you kept changing again at people's habits of buying. Then we went into giftwares. And that went very well. And one thing that was really hot was milk glass at that time. Okay. And now you can't even find it. It's not made anymore. But we were selling Fenton glass, which was a high quality. And then they quit making milk glass. And it used to be we couldn't even keep the stuff. It went as fast as we got it. And then along came my wife, and we got into selling trains. And that worked very well. Yeah. So we sold trains for a pretty good while. But now I've gotten older, I want a little time for myself.
Yeah, well, we can't blame you. And so, as you can see, it really has changed over the years what Hile's has brought to the community. But as Joe mentioned, whatever was hot and selling at the time, you could get it here at Hile's on Main Street. And we hate to see you go, but I know you've really been successful here on Main Street for 65 years, so there's a lot to be said for that.
Well, and the trains especially. Yeah. Another way we got into it was I like trains. Mm-hmm. And you could buy one at Christmas time, a crummy set, but I decided at home I had a little train, and I wanted to expand on that, and you couldn't buy anything with dealing with a train at town. So my wife and I talked about it, and we got she said, let's try selling trains. So we did.
Yeah. And I know many people are familiar with Joe here in the community with the Model Railroaders Club, and we've brought you some segments here on River City TV about that club. One of the founding members, Mr. Hile, and I know that is still going strong. The layouts are beautiful over at the City Auditorium. Well, tell me a little bit about your fondest memories working here at Hiles. I know you've seen a lot of faces come through the doors over the years here at Hiles, but what are some of your fondest memories of working here on Main Street over the last, 3 or 4 decades for yourself and for the family over 6 decades?
Well, the people, most people are very nice to get along with, and it's you meet up with a lot of interesting people, and it's some can be a pain, but fortunately, most of them are pretty decent and very friendly. So overall, it's been nice.
Very good. And many people may not realize this, but the building that Hiles has operated out of for 65 years actually was one of the first theaters here in the city of Danville. And Joe was telling me earlier, back in the 1920s, this was a theater, right, Joe?
Not 1920.
Okay.
It closed in 1915 too.
Oh, okay.
It didn't survive long, and they blame it on the First World War that the ticket prices were too high. And there were a bunch of theaters up and down Main Street too at that time. But so they folded it up, and I think it only lasted about 1.5 years at the most. But it is the oldest theater that is in the United States, even though it's not a theater now and hasn't been for all those years. But it's the oldest theater that is in the United States that the building has never been empty.
Right.
Which is quite amazing.
That is. That's a great compliment, because obviously when it wasn't a theater, it became something else that occupied the space, and then you all came along, in 1950, you said 51, right?
1951. Now, Clark Electric was in here. Some of the old-timers would remember Clark Electric. He was in here before we were. And the building was a florist at one time. So it's been a number of things down through the years.
Very good. Well, Mr. Hile, I want to again congratulate you on your retirement. I wish you nothing but the best. I know you're still going to dabble in the Model Railroaders Club, but we're going to miss you here on Main Street in the River District, and want to just thank you for everything that you and your family have done over the years. And I want to thank all the community members that have supported Mr. Hile and his family over the years. You're going to be missed.
Well, I tell you, I'll be fooling with trains as long as I can hop. I enjoy them, and they're a lot of fun, especially when they're radio controlled, like our layout is at the City Auditorium. Not the auditorium. It's up on the 4th floor is where we have our layout. So it's a lot of fun doing that, and it keeps you on your toes when you got a couple of trains, 3 trains or so running. It keeps you alert.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's not just sitting there watching the thing go around in a circle. It's we got 1,600 feet of track.
It's very impressive.
So it's quite a layout, and people ought to see it and come down and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Hile, thank you again for joining us today, and we wish you nothing but the best in retirement.
Well, I thank you for being here, and I thank you for keeping me happy on the thing.
All right, no problem.